Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I look at my collection all the time, especially starting with the very first Funko Pop I got, which ironically was Spider-Man. And then I look at some of the new releases that Funko announces and just how much the Funko Pop itself has changed, especially to be the same character. So today I want to show you the original Funko Pop and a newer mold that Funko has created for some of the same characters, just to look at some of the progress and differences that Funko has made. So we will start with my very first ever Funko Pop, which is this Spider-Man that is extremely comic accurate. Now you can look at this and see this was an older pop, one of Funko's original designs. The red is much darker, but I feel like Spider-Man has a very plain, big head, small body look to him, just arms to the side in a very simple pose. But the thing that stands out the most to me is the way they did his eyes with the white circles, something that is very inaccurate from the comic books. Now, taking a look at a newer Funko Pop, which is this Spider-Man, I think this pop represents the way Spider-Man looks much better. In a simple pose, but much more dynamic. Both hands, he's doing his little web shooting motion, and he has more of a battle stance to him. Just a much better pose, but again, when we look at those eyes, it has a more natural feel to the way his eyes really look when he's wearing that mask. Another big difference once we put these side to side is the hard webbing. The original version has that hard black webbing when the newer one doesn't. And I don't know about you, but I will say out of these two, I might have to say the original one is my favorite. You know me, sometimes you can't beat the OGs. The next pop I want to look at is specifically my favorite version of Spider-Man, and that is Miles Morales. This original Miles Morales, again, very simple look, big head, small body, arms down to the side, but very little webbing detail in his suit. When you look a little bit closer, we all know that Miles should have a black and red suit, but this pop specifically more looks like a darker navy blue rather than a black. And that was something I personally did not realize until I really took it out of the box. And with this newer Miles Morales, specifically the one from the new Spider-Man 2 PlayStation 5 video game, a much more dynamic pose. He's jumping there, shooting a web out of his wrist, and the colors on the suit truly resemble the way Miles is supposed to look in the black and red. Again, just like the last comparison, the eye details are vastly different. The original does have a circular eyeball within the mask versus the new one has that more natural mask look. Now, unlike the last one, I will say I definitely enjoy the newer version of Miles in this instance better than the original. Now, the next Spider-Man pop that got a serious upgrade not too long ago is in fact Spider-Man 2099. Again, you will see this trend a lot with the original Spider-Man pops. Big head, small body in a very simple pose, just arms to the side. You will notice this pop has very little detail on the suit. Even though he has a mask, there's no features on his face that really make it resemble a mask. All of the paint on the face of this pop is extremely flat. This is a very basic Funko mold that is just simply painted. However, Funko did update this mold because of the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movie. And here is the new Spider-Man 2099. This one is in a simple pose, yes. However, there are so many details in his suit. They gave this suit a lot of texture, especially in the body of it. But they even gave his arms simple details with those protrusions coming from his arms just to add more of a natural comic book-like effect to this Spider-Man pop. Now, I will say, I think this Spider-Man 2099 pop has the biggest difference over the years. Funko has done an incredible job with this character. He's definitely grown in popularity because of the movie, and they have absolutely nailed the way his suit looks in all of the recent Funko Pops that they've done. Now, this next pop is one of my personal favorite Spider-Man suits, and that is the Superior Spider-Man. Although this pop didn't come out too much longer than the original Spider-Man, only 2 years later in 2017, you can tell Funko really started to up the details in a lot of their Funko Pops. This pop is still in a very simple pose. However, they raised his arms a bit. The details on it look better. And I think they did a great job of adding the legs attached to the back of this pop. I really like the red and black colors. They represent the suit well, and they're very cohesive together. And for its new counterpart, which is actually one of the newest Spider-Man pops that have released, the Amazon exclusive Superior Spider-Man. Funko keeps giving Spider-Man these jumping action poses, and I am here for it. This one specifically, they gave him a web that he's holding on to, kind of wrapping around him with a very nice detail to where the web is not just white. It's more of a translucent color, the way a web really would be in real life. Now, the legs on the back of the Superior Spider-Man for the newer version are more flat on his back versus big and protruding out to the front of his body, but that's okay since he's in an action pose. This one is a toss-up. I'm personally not sure if I like the newer version better or the older. I think they're both great in their own ways. Let me know what you think in the comments, especially since this is a new Superior Spider-Man pop. Do you prefer the old one or the new one? And for the last pop, I decided to switch it up and go with Venom. Instead of Spider-Man, we're going to focus on one of his many villains, just because I feel like a lot of these villains did get early Funko Pops, and some of them have recently got updated and they are incredible. This Venom in particular still had a more basic look, but for how old he is, I think this pop looks amazing. They gave him that tongue detail, which is essential to Venom, and great teeth detail. And I think even with his arms, they gave him a little bit more of a muscly look and nailed this pop, especially for the time when they created it. However, Funko just updated the Venom mode specifically for the Spider-Man 2 video game, and this new Venom pop looks outstanding. They gave him the symbiote tendrils on his back, and I will say, my favorite detail about this Venom pop, again, is the tongue and teeth detail. And it might sound gross, but the small detail in saliva, because if you've played the Spider-Man 2 game, you know Venom was always screaming, yelling, and he had his mouth open, and there was that saliva detail. I think it is just pinpoint accurate to the game and the character of Venom himself. Well, those are the 5 pops that I wanted to show you that have had recent updates in their molds that I think are pretty significant. Let me know in the comments if you want a part 2 and maybe what characters you'd really want me to compare for that video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, and until next time, I'm out of here, y'all.